Have you ever wondered how the serene landscapes of North Carolina were once the battleground of the Cherokee Indian Wars? The gentle rolling hills and lush forests that today echo with the peaceful hum of nature were once filled with the cries of conflict and the clash of cultures. The Cherokee, a proud and ancient tribe, called the verdant landscapes of North Carolina home long before Europeans set foot on the continent. They were a sophisticated society with a rich culture, complex political structures, and a deep spiritual connection to the land. The Cherokee, or Aniyunwiya as they called themselves, meaning the real people, thrived in these lands, living in harmony with nature. But with the arrival of European settlers in the 17th century, this tranquility began to unravel. The settlers, driven by a thirst for new lands and resources, began encroaching upon Cherokee territories. The Europeans brought with them not only their own ambitions, but foreign diseases that decimated the Native American populations. The Cherokee were forced to confront a world that was rapidly changing, their traditional ways of life under threat. The friction between the Cherokee tribe and the European settlers was not immediate, but rather it was a slow, burning ember. Misunderstandings, cultural clashes, and territorial disputes fueled this friction over time. The settlers' insatiable hunger for land and resources, coupled with their lack of respect for the Cherokee's traditions and rights, set the stage for inevitable conflict. This tension simmered beneath the surface for many years until it finally erupted into the Cherokee Indian Wars. A series of battles and skirmishes that would not only change the course of history for the Cherokee tribe, but would also shape the future of North Carolina, and indeed, the United States. Now that we've set the stage, let's dive into the series of events that ignited the Cherokee Indian Wars. This tale is one of resilience, courage, and the enduring human spirit in the face of adversity. It is a crucial chapter in the rich tapestry of American history, often overlooked, but deserving of our attention and respect. The Cherokee Indian Wars didn't just happen overnight. It was a series of unfortunate events that led to the outbreak. The early seeds of conflict were sown with the arrival of European settlers in the Cherokee lands. These settlers, driven by a thirst for new territories and resources, found themselves on a collision course with the Cherokee people, who had been living harmoniously with the land for centuries. The Cherokee, a proud and complex society, were initially intrigued by the newcomers with their strange customs and powerful weaponry. The settlers, on the other hand, were fascinated by the Cherokee's rich culture and the bounty of their lands. However, this mutual curiosity soon gave way to tension as the settlers began encroaching on Cherokee territories, disrupting their way of life. The Cherokee, bound by their deep respect for the land, were not willing to stand idle as their ancestral territories were taken over piece by piece. This tension between the two groups simmered, occasionally erupting into localized skirmishes and conflicts. The situation escalated dramatically with the onset of the French and Indian War in the mid-18th century. This war, fought between the British and French for control of North America, further complicated the already fragile relationship between the Cherokee and the settlers. The Cherokee, caught in the crossfire, found themselves forced to choose sides in a war that was not their own. This war was a catalyst, igniting the simmering tensions between the Cherokee and the settlers. As the French and Indian War raged on, the relationship between the Cherokee and the settlers deteriorated further. The Cherokee were accused of siding with the French, resulting in increased hostility from the settlers. In retaliation, the Cherokee launched attacks on frontier settlements, escalating the conflict to an unprecedented level. With tensions at a peak, the stage was set for a full-blown war. The Cherokee Indian Wars, a tragic chapter in our history, were about to begin, fueled by years of distrust and misunderstanding between the Cherokee and the European settlers. The year 1759 marked the beginning of the Cherokee Indian Wars. The Cherokee Indian Wars were not a singular event, but rather a series of violent encounters, each with its own story. The Cherokees, skilled warriors with a deep connection to their land, were not about to give up their homes without a fight. The settlers, on the other hand, driven by the desire for expansion and economic prosperity, were equally determined. The first significant clash of the Cherokee Indian Wars was the Battle of Taliwa. The Cherokees, led by the fearless warrior Ostenaco, resisted the encroachment of settlers into their territories. The battle was fierce, with both sides suffering heavy losses. But in the end, the Cherokees emerged victorious, sending a clear message to the settlers that they would not be easily subdued. However, the settlers, backed by the British colonial authorities, retaliated with a series of campaigns aimed at weakening the Cherokees' resistance. One of the most notable was the Timberlake expedition, which sought to establish diplomatic relations with the Cherokee in an effort to undermine their alliance with the French. Despite the expedition's success, it only served to further escalate tensions between the two sides. The war reached its zenith with the siege of Fort Loudoun in 1760, where the Cherokee laid siege to a British fort in the heart of their territory. The siege lasted several months, with the fort's defenders eventually surrendering due to lack of supplies. This victory, however, came at a heavy cost for the Cherokee, who suffered immense losses in the battle. The war continued to rage on, with neither side willing to back down. Battles were fought, territories were lost and regained, and lives were forever changed. The Cherokee fought with bravery and tenacity, while the settlers retaliated with equal ferocity. The war was brutal and bloody, leaving the region in chaos and despair. The Cherokee Indian Wars did not last forever, but what happened when the smoke cleared? The wars ended with the signing of the Treaty of Augusta in 1783. This agreement marked a pivotal turning point, not only for the Cherokee tribe, but also for the European settlers. The treaty was designed to bring peace, but it came at a heavy price for the Cherokees. They were forced to cede a significant portion of their ancestral lands to the settlers, a blow that was both physical and spiritual. The aftermath of the war was tumultuous. The Cherokee people, once a proud and thriving tribe, were left fragmented and weakened. Their society was disrupted, their population was reduced, and their way of life was forever altered. The war had taken a toll on them, stripping away their homes, their autonomy, and in many cases, their lives. Yet amidst this turmoil, the Cherokees proved their resilience. They began to regroup, rebuild, and even adapt some aspects of European culture into their own, laying the groundwork for a new chapter in their history. On the other side, the European settlers, who had come seeking new opportunities, now had vast tracts of land at their disposal. They built homes, farms, and towns, carving out a new life for themselves in what was once Cherokee territory. However, this expansion came with its own set of challenges. The settlers had to navigate the complexities of living in a new, unfamiliar land, often clashing with the remaining native tribes. The Cherokee Indian Wars had profound consequences, not just for those directly involved, but for the entire region. The cultural, political, and geographical landscape was forever changed. The scars of these wars, both visible and invisible, have endured over the centuries. They serve as a reminder of a turbulent past, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and a lesson in the high cost of conflict. The Cherokee Indian Wars left a lasting impact on the region, the echoes of which can still be felt today. The Cherokee Indian Wars were more than just battles fought on North Carolina soil. In the grand tapestry of American history, these wars represent a pivotal moment of cultural collision, where the old world met the new. They were not merely skirmishes over land and resources, but a struggle for identity and survival, woven into the very fabric of our nation. The Cherokee Indian Wars, far-reaching in their implications, have left an indelible mark on the cultural, social, and political landscapes of America. For the Cherokee tribe, the wars were a test of resilience in the face of imminent loss. They fought bravely, defending their ancestral lands, their way of life, their very existence. Yet the aftermath was a harsh reality. Displacement, cultural erosion, and the loss of their traditional lands were the heavy prices the Cherokee paid. But it also ignited a flame of resistance and resilience that still burns brightly within the Cherokee people today. For the European settlers, these wars were a gateway to expansion, a stepping stone on their path to manifest destiny. Yet it was also a stark reminder of the human cost of expansion. The conflict with the Cherokee tribe was a mirror, reflecting the settlers' own fears, ambitions, and prejudices. In the broader context of American history, the Cherokee Indian Wars serve as a poignant reminder of the complex and often painful process of nation-building. They underline the fact that America's past is a tapestry of diverse narratives, intertwined and often conflicting. They force us to acknowledge the resilience of indigenous cultures, the often unspoken cost of progress, and the importance of understanding and reconciling with our past. They remind us that history is not just about victories or defeats, but about understanding the nuances of human struggle and endurance. The Cherokee Indian Wars, a significant chapter in American history, continue to shape our understanding of the past and influence our present.